Hello again, YouTube! This is Dr.Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited doing some object editor commentary action stuff. Yes, I've got the net gun right here. This is actually just an arm that shoots out a web. What in the world? Is that like just some crazy spoiler or what for what we're going to be creating today? Gonna start off with a bodybuilder. If they give me the male bodybuilder. What the hell? Okay, there we go. I had to go through like 6 of them until I got the male bodybuilder. Okay, so here we go. We're actually gonna create, yes, you probably guessed it, Spider-Man! I'll put up the usernames of people who requested it during a time when requests were actually open right now on screen. So yes, this is important. You can see in the pattern library, there's like a very spider-webby looking pattern. It's normally white, but you can also paint it over any other colors. So of course, we're painting it over red, and we're using Maxwell's brother Razor. That is not Razor like it's traditionally spelled. It's Razor with an E instead of an O. Now, Spider-Man, amidst all the red colors that he also has a lot of blue, kind of thrown in here and there. And so like, for instance, on his arms, on the under part, he's got blue. So I just used a little, one of the 29-page library, general shapes library. I just used one of those arm shapes right there to get that kind of curved shape with the razor arm that we've used. And so we're just using a fin, of course the organic fin. It's supposed to be like the fin that comes from the fish or something. And I'm using the dancer's legs, just using his back leg right there. The reason that I'm doing this is actually because it's a little bit skinnier. I like the skinniness and kind of the tallness of the dancer's legs. I'm not saying the dancer is particularly tall, I'm just saying the specific tallness of that dancer. And so we're gonna put these boots on as well and paint them the Spidey colors because Spider-Man does have those spider-webby looking boots as well. They're red. Spider-Man has gone through some changes and whatnot over the years, of course, but I'm doing sort of a little bit more modern maybe, but just sort of a fusion of all, Spider-Mans for the most part. We're actually using an eyelash and an egg, and then I'm going to use a beak as well for the top, just to create the spider logo that is on his chest, of his uniform. And so one thing I didn't note actually with the fins for the eyes, I also did another fin behind each one of those fins that is painted black. And so if you can do that, it'll just kind of give that outline that Spider-Man's mask actually does have over his eyes. See, right there. You can kind of see that as we're making some adjustments. Yeah, that little spider on his chest, it's like you can't see a whole lot. So, I think you could play around with that and do it a number of different ways. I'm actually going to create another Spider-Man, just so you guys can see kind of 2 ways to make it. I'm kind of getting into this thing where I like to show other ways to make the objects because that also might curb your desire, to say you could have done it this way. This kind of gives you the perspective that Scribblenauts Unlimited and Unmasked, you can always create things a different way. So yes, most of the time, you're going to be able to do something different than what I do. Just use my videos as a basis and throw in your own creativity. We'll script for him soon, but of course I like to talk about fun facts. I always research some fun facts about each of the characters. Hopefully it gives you some new information that maybe you didn't know. It's always just fun to hear about it. So Spider-Man, of course, Marvel Comics web-slinging superhero, first appeared in the early 1960s, where teenage characters were usually depicted as sidekicks. But Spidey broke the mold, and a teenage Peter Parker became the hero we know and love today. Over the years, Peter Parker has developed from a shy, nerdy high school student to a troubled yet outgoing college student to a married high school teacher to a single freelance photographer, which is his most typical adult role, I would say. And even in the year 2010, the character of Spider-Man received his own Broadway musical called Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. What's interesting is it was either in 2011 or 12, there was a really bad accident with one of the performers, doing all the high wiry jumping and stuff like that, and apparently there was somebody that got really hurt, unfortunately. But let's move on. In the comic books, longtime couple Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson actually did tie the knot in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 21 back in 1987. To help promote the comics, Spider-Man and Mary Jane actually got married in real life at a ceremony in front of about 45,000 people at Shea Stadium, where the New York Mets play. Many costumed Marvel characters attended the ceremony, including Hulk, Captain America, Iceman, and more. I'm not kidding! So there was actually a real wedding ceremony. But lastly, one final interesting fun fact is after learning that Barack Obama was a Spider-Man fan, Marvel Comics couldn't let that opportunity slip by them. So actually in 2009's Amazing Spider-Man number 583, Spider-Man actually teams up with Barack Obama to thwart an evil plan from the Spider-Man villain called the Chameleon. So that's pretty crazy, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. But as I said, I wanted to show you another design, just in case you want another look at, my typical art style for these. This was actually starting off with a dancer as the source object, and just using that for Spider-Man, and mostly the same stuff. Of course, I made the spider a little bit different with lots of beaks for the legs instead. Now, one thing you're going to see here, if you're curious, is that the two Spider-Mans are on, they're on two different playing fields, two different levels of the stage here. You can see that the one that I made with the bodyguard is actually sunken kind of a little bit lower. That's actually due to, I believe, it comes from when you remove the original legs off of a character and then put in new ones and try to edit it that way. I think you could leave the original legs, but then put the new ones over it, but obviously you're not going to have as much stamp space and the like, any problems that come with that. So I'm just making these Spider-Men fight random strong enemies that are evil, because both Spider-Mans are scripted to protect good and defeat evil, of course. But look, that Spider-Man's scared of the monster. I wonder if I made him brave or not. I probably need to. Okay, there he goes. He's got to protect. And look, I even got Bowser in on the fun. Let's put the Spider-Mans against Bowser. Yeah, their real power comes from shooting those webs, I think. So yes, I didn't want to just leave it at that. I still have a lot of objects, a lot of object requests to do, and time is of the essence, and I'm not going to take new requests until July or August, so I've been asking people to kind of hold off until then. One final thing to note, of course, is that I just used Razor's arm and painted it for the, web gun, so it's like I'm holding Spider-Man's arm and shooting webs out. So that was the reason why you saw that from the beginning that I did. But yes, as I was saying, I want to try to get a few more requests done, and with time being of the essence, I thought, hey, I'll quickly show another one. So here we go, we got Chuck Norris, and I'll show the people who requested Chuck Norris. It was actually 3 people, which I thought, that's probably more than I would have thought it would be. And you could probably design Chuck Norris in many ways, but I've basically gone with the kung fu fighting Chuck Norris, the one that's got his martial artist gear on and stuff. So I just started off with the ninja as the source object. This makes me laugh because sometimes my Chuck Norris kicks little feet out as his projectile, but then other times he shoots a slush because people say Chuck Norris doesn't swim, water just wants to be around him, so I have him shooting out water. Now I have this script, when I drop a kid down, we're gonna see what happens. He's supposed to, yeah, that was crazy. Yes, that's exactly what I was hoping would happen right there. Basically I have it that whenever Chuck Norris moves near children, I just have him like shoot out ice cream and cupcakes. That seems like something Chuck Norris might do, I don't know. Giving goodness to all the boys and girls out there. And so I'll make him fight this shark, and you can see that he also, one of the things that is in his scripting is that he shoots out these sharks as well, because I know that the real Chuck Norris could probably grapple with some sharks. I was actually talking with a friend and loyal subscriber, and she was saying, I wonder what Chuck Norris really actually thinks about all of these, memes that have come of him, all these fun facts or whatever that you could look up, like infinite amounts of fun facts, like supposedly you can Google like Chuck Norris loses or Chuck Norris getting defeated or something, and people say that no results come up in Google, so it's kind of hilarious. I loved him in Dodgeball. I did just want to say, hopefully you guys have seen the Task Force 5. Hopefully you've gotten a chance to go over there and watch that. It's a new YouTube channel that I am heavily involved with because I am one of 5 members of this amazing YouTube quintuplet. Go over and check it out. We've got like a TF2 vid up. We've got some Pikmin. We've got some Mario Kart Wii. We've got all sorts of great stuff and more good stuff to come, of course. And pretty regular content over there, for it only launching about 1 week ago. We've almost got videos like every other day. So if you want something else to view after these Scribblenauts videos, please go check us all out over there. Now, the very last thing that I'm going to say is that I actually will be taking next weekend off. I'm actually going to be going to New York City, seeing Idina Menzel, the woman who sings Frozen's Let It Go. She's actually, more so what I know her from is being a pretty big Broadway sensation, and so she's actually in a show right now, and I'm taking my wife to go see it. But I will be back the following weekend after that, when the month of April starts. And I did just want to mention that for the month of April, I'm actually only going to have 2 Scribblenauts Unlimited episodes come that month. Usually there's 3 or 4. So I'm only going to have 2. I'm hoping that way I can kind of finish the new Scribble Ventures. So hopefully some good will, of course, come out of that absence. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for your attention. And I'll catch you on the next vid. And thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious.